Hi, I'm Shayna, and I'm here back with another video to talk about the Belle Collective. This is season 2, episode 3. And if you like this kind of content, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend, and tell a friend. And thanks in advance for watching. I want to start off by saying the wig. Well, not everyone's. I'm gonna not say any names that start with M's, but the wigs are giving this season, especially Letitia. Girl, you look good. You really look good. So anyway, we pick up where we left off last week at the brunch. We ended off the episode with Marie in the men's bathroom, and we pick right back off with her being in the men's bathroom. So Letitia goes to Latrice and she asks her if she can please talk to Marie and squash this. Latrice ends up giving in and says, okay, fine, for you, I will. She goes in and she tries to explain to Marie that she had nothing to do with this. She has no rhyme or reason to ever do any of the things that Marie has accused her of doing. Marie cut her off. She doesn't want to hear nothing she got to say. She stopped her mid-sentence. She doesn't care. She said, you played a part, so your hands ain't clean. You're guilty by association. So Letitia and Marie end up getting into it because Marie stomps out and she's trying to leave and they're fighting back and forth. It sounds like they're almost about to come to blows. But we know friends can fight and make up, as they did, but it was getting very loud and the rest of the ladies at the brunch could hear everything. So Akeisha, the new Belle, is sitting there and she's complaining, making it about her, basically saying she's above this and she didn't come for this. No one did. And I don't think there's anything wrong with what she was saying. It's just the way she was saying it. Her delivery and tone and her attitude is just nasty, and I don't know why. So she ends up leaving, not without complaining first. Then Marie ends up leaving, and Letitia just goes back into the men's room and sobs in the producer's arms. And you can tell, unlike those tears she was crying at her mama's house over Glenn, that these were very real, legitimate tears. She was very upset, and rightfully so, because Marie plays a part in her events just going downhill every time, at least from what we've seen. It's bad. I would take a break from brunches, honestly, if I was Letitia, because it seems exhausting. But, that was everything. It got very heated. Letitia ends up coming back out. She spends the remainder of the time ending it off with the remaining ladies. One of the women who were in attendance let her know that Akeisha was saying all of these things about the brunch and complaining. And she was saying she didn't like her attitude from the door. She came in stank and nasty, and her attitude was tore up. And she gonna tell her to her face exactly how she feel. So I think she should, because, it was very disrespectful. No, I'm not going to eat off a dirty plate. No, I don't want burnt food. But I could, pull her to the side, tell her about it later. If you didn't end up eating the food, just sit there and just look cute and just bring it up at another time. She already was feeling terrible with Marie as it is. So later on, Latrice, Soguchi, and the husbands end up getting together on Latrice and Cliff's land. Yes, I will be calling Cliff. I'm not calling him Daddy, nor Zaddy, not Poppy, none of that. I'll call Soguchi, but I ain't calling Cliff Daddy. He ain't no daddy of mine. So, y'all are familiar, so a lot of y'all are familiar with Soguchi's husband, JJ, from another show. I'm not familiar with him, but he definitely has a funny sense of humor, and I can tell by the beads on the end of his braids that he don't care about nothing. He gonna say what he got to say, and that's what he did. So they were having fun on the go-kart, splashing around in the mud, and driving fast, and we get to see all this beautiful land. Latrice said that her and her husband got the property. They got the land about 7 years ago, lots of acres, and they turned it into an event space so people have their weddings there, all types of family events, family reunions, whatever type of event you need, you can have it there. And Latrice is about her coin. That's why she's worrying about the coin instead of children. But we get into that a little bit there. Once they get done, having fun outside, they come in for some spiked hot chocolate, and they sit down. They try to catch the husbands up just a tad on the drama that happened at the brunch. The husbands are trying to understand, y'all are Bells, why so much drama? That's what happens when, a group of women come together, typically on these shows. So then JJ asks Latrice, is she ready for a child? And I can tell right then and there that this is going to be her storyline for the remainder of the season, because it's starting to come up in every episode. So I can tell that she's going to continue talking about this child issue at hand. So they said they had different timelines on it. Cliff's not really happy with it. I don't know why they didn't talk about this in the beginning. Maybe they did and things have changed over the course of the years. But it seems like they should have been on the same page about this prior to filming this show. I understand that Latrice has daddy issues. She expressed that last season, so I know that plays a huge part in this. So I appreciate her not rushing if she's not ready. So Tambra and Akeisha meet up at a juice bar or a smoothie place, and they sit down. They're once again talking about the brunch. Akeisha's complaining. Tambra's trying to diffuse the situation and explain that it's not typically like this. Usually it is empowering. It's not always this way. And she wants to know if she's still going to work on the Fair Street project with Letitia. And I really appreciate Tambra for being a good friend. She always seems to have Letitia's back. She had her back as well last season. So Akeisha said she's not that petty. She's still down to work on Fair Street. I apologize if I'm saying the street name incorrectly. I'm hoping that this doesn't turn into a Love and Marriage Huntsville comeback group type of situation, and that they really do get to where they're trying to go with this. So what I did like was that Akeisha started speaking about her miracle babies. I could definitely relate to her on this. She talks about her babies having struggles with 7 miscarriages, trying through IVF and failing, and then conceiving them naturally later in life. This inspires Tambra and gives her hope. And I definitely appreciate that. If Tambra wants to try naturally, she has to naturally try to conceive. Otherwise, it's not going to work. But I definitely appreciate her giving her that motivation. I know how discouraging it can be, going through that over and over and over again and thinking it's never going to happen, because I've lost a child myself much further along, so I know it can really affect you. And I'm glad she had her miracle babies at the end of this to show that yes, despite what the doctors say, you still can have what you say. Tambra is talking about the babies, and Akeisha's like, oh, you and your guys, y'all are still together after all these years, you need a ring. I'm in agreement because Tambra wants a ring. I think, me personally, after all these years, yes, I think so. But I know everyone does not want to be married, and if you and your partner are in agreement with that, that's fine. But she actually does want to be married. It seems like she held off all this time because she wants to be married. So for that reason, she should have a ring, because that's what her heart desires. And if he doesn't want to do that, then he needs to make it clear. So they move on. They leave on a positive note there. We end up going over to Marie's place. She was saying that she had to go to her grandson's mother's funeral that day. So it was already a very tough day. And then she ended up having a lupus flare-up, which was just very upsetting. That's a lot for one day. Such a sad story with the grandson's mother passing. Essie comes to visit, and she's just there comforting her, being the great friend that she always is to Marie. Marie's definitely lucky to and very fortunate to have a good friend like Essie. She definitely seems to be there for her no matter what. So Marie starts venting and saying, on the outside looking in, everything is great. Career-wise, everything is fine. But my personal life is basically in shambles. And she brings up her ex-husband. And it's a touchy subject for me because on the reunion, she lied. She lied about him. We know they were married at one point, but she lied about him being her husband last season. So I'm like, I don't know what to believe about you and this husband of yours, or ex-husband or fiance or whatever is going on between y'all two. And what happened to the man that she came to Letitia's engagement party or whatever, birthday party or whatever the event was, who was that tall man she had on her arm? He just disappeared and we didn't even say anything else about it. So she tells Essie that she's going to get the ex-husband a Rolex, and Essie's like, well, why? You have to pay him and bribe him to take care of his daughter? And I'm agreeing, why? And she's like, oh, well, I promised him. He said I promised him that when we were married. And she was like, what about all the things he promised you? Yeah, and you're not married anymore. So I don't owe you nothing. I think a part of her still wants to be with that man. But I know it's overwhelming. She has a lot going on. And maybe she just wants him in the house to help. I mean, I wouldn't blame her. I would understand, because as he asked about the son, and she said he just needs to focus on school. And I'm thinking, sheesh, when is he supposed to graduate? Because this seems like this is a long time coming. The mother was 18, but he's 23. He is a grown man with 3 children. He can work and go to school. But, you know, Maria's just sitting there trying to relax and recover from a long day. And I think she has a lot on her shoulders, so she definitely needs a break. Latrice goes to visit her mom. I thought her mom was really cute. I thought it was nice to see their dynamic and go into a little bit more about Latrice's daddy issues, because her father apparently left them when she was 3 years old. And then she said from there, her one brother tried to step up. You know, he unfortunately is unalived. The next brother, prison, the next brother unalived, and then it's just a cycle. And so she feels like every time a man's around, they end up leaving her. So she doesn't fully trust that they'll be around. And I will say, when children come, the dynamics of your relationship change. Things change. But you just have to know, you know, and trust and hope that your partner will be there for you. But again, if she's not fully, she has a gut feeling, she needs to listen to her intuition. Her mother says that Cliff is just like her father. And I'm like, maybe that's why. She said she didn't even realize, but maybe that's why she got with him. It makes a lot of sense. They really just got into her mother being, you know, a single parent and having to step up once he left. And, you know, the mother was saying the father was controlling, and Cliff has some of those same tendencies. I think if she was maybe with a man closer to her age, she might have been more willing, but I think she was with Cliff to fill a void. I really like them together. I hope it works out, but as far as the baby, I don't know. Hopefully in time she'll decide what she really wants to do with that situation, and hopefully her past will no longer affect her decision making going forward. Yes, you need to keep it in the back of your mind, but you can't stay there. You have to keep going forward. Akeisha and Letitia meet, and they're meeting at a restaurant. Akeisha comes in seemingly with a chip on her shoulder, and Letitia tells her that she came into the brunch with a bad attitude and clearly has some kind of agenda to be stank. So Akeisha's still complaining. Even after she told her, Letitia said, you came in there with a bad attitude, that's why I felt away. She still was complaining. Dirty plates. I know people might associate, you know, the owners, they might associate that building or that location or whatever with the brunch and may think, oh, you know, this place may not be up to par because you're doing so much complaining. So if you know them personally, I would just stop doing that. And Letitia's trying to explain, like, it's the way you went about it. But she's still just going on. Eventually she ends up apologizing if she made her feel that way. And Letitia decided to be the bigger person and said, thank you for apologizing. Yes, just apologize. Well, I'm sorry if you felt that way, but no. I'm sorry. That's it. That's all that needs to be said. If you're sorry, just say that. If you're not sorry, don't say anything. But don't, you know, give one of those types of sorries. So Letitia says she still wants to do Fair Street, so, you know, let's just move forward. And Akeisha agrees she wants to do it as well. So then things are making a positive turn already in the conversation. Letitia begins to gossip a bit because she was saying, oh, you know, Tambra's boyfriend. And she was like, yeah, he went to high school with us. I don't know if they were dating during high school, but, you know, they've been together for a really long time. And Letitia, without saying it, because she was saying I met him through a friend, a female friend, and Keisha's like, well, did you hear something negative? Like, what was it? And she was like, him and Han, and implying. And I'm like, Letitia, first of all, you are confiding. Even if you're saying it without saying it, you're talking to the wrong person. You and this lady don't know each other, and y'all already started on a bad foot. She's gonna tell Tamber. That's where her loyalty lies. If you want to stay out of it, just stay out of it. But don't dip your toe in it. So I'm like, she's doing that. I know it's going to stir up some drama later on in the season, because I'm sure it will get back to Tamra that she knew something, especially with them trying to have a baby and going to see the doctors and everything like that. So after that, they get back to it. They're saying, okay, let's get back to, the project at hand. We really want to focus on this, and they're going to move forward with it. And that's where the episode ends. So I will be back here next week. We're going to pick up where we left off. Seems like next week Maria is going to really tell her, I can't make it to these brunches. I'm anxious to see that. She's putting her foot down with Glenn. I noticed most of the episodes she had her ring on. Letitia, come clean. You're with him. You've been with him the whole time. You never left. If you want to stay with that man, more power to you. We want better for you, but you gotta want it for yourself. So if you with him, you with him. But we understand it's difficult, especially going through it on TV. We'll definitely talk about it in the comments. If there's anything you'd like for me to review, please let me know. Otherwise, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm not editing a thing. Y'all gonna get this video as is. Thumbs it up, and see you next time.